So this question focuses on the new junior doctor contracts, and this is a topic that we think could be very popular this year in medical school interviews. It's been in and out of the news a lot, and you probably know a bit about it, whether it's from reading about the strikes by the junior doctors, trying to work out what these contract changes are yourself, or just by speaking to medical students and doctors. But putting that all together into a clear, well-structured answer isn't easy. You want to be able to present the most important information as well as give a balanced answer. If we look at this question more closely, what are your thoughts on the debate surrounding the new junior doctor contract? This question is asking for your thoughts, so this is what we call an opinion question. For all opinion questions, you want to structure your answer using the Easy Medical Interviews opinion framework. Define or state the facts about the new contract, give the pros, give the cons, and then conclude with your opinion. Let's now analyse our model answer. Start by defining or stating the facts about the new contract. The contract as a whole is over 50 pages, so you need to focus on the most important things. In our model answer, our student focuses on two things in particular. Number one, why is there a need for a new contract? And number two, what are the main changes from the old to the new contract? So let's focus on the first part. Why is there a need for a new contract? Well, the government first decided in 2011 that the current contracts were, in their words, outdated and unfair. In 2012, the BMA, which represents doctors, first entered negotiations with the government with the intention of coming up with a fair and improved contract. Since mid-2015, the government have been publicising that their drive for implementing and forcing through this new contract is to try and achieve what they call a 7-day NHS. So if we look back at our model answer, our student starts off his answer by immediately mentioning the buzzword 7-day NHS and goes further by explaining what exactly the government means by a 7-day NHS.
And from what I understand, the main reason as to why the government is pursuing this change in the contract is to try and implement what they call a 7-day NHS.
The second part of stating the facts involves letting the interviewer know a summary of the main changes of this new contract. And this picture here explains that for you if you're not yet aware. The blue rotor on the left-hand side shows the current contract, the red rotor on the right side shows the government's new contract. And there are two main changes. Number one, basic pay has gone up by 13.5%, but this has come at a cost. For example, what constitutes unsociable hours? And according to this new contract, Saturday pay should be treated the same as Monday to Friday.
Coming to the contract itself, one of the biggest changes is that the basic pay for doctors has increased, but at a compromise. So for example, Saturdays are no longer deemed as unsociable working hours.
So to summarise, the first part of our model answer, which is stating the facts about the new contract, has two parts. First, explaining why there is a need for a new contract. Second, describing the main changes from the old to the new contract. Now, if we go back to our opinion framework, this is where we now give a balanced view and mention the pros and then the cons. So if we start with the positives, one of the few positives that has come about recently is that there has been an end to the junior doctor strikes. So for the first time in the history of the NHS, there were 2 full-day walkouts by junior doctors in April. Reports varied as to the impact of these strikes on healthcare, with some saying hospitals coped well, others saying the number of cancelled operations and cancelled clinics was extremely high. After the pros, then you move on to the cons, which there are many to choose from, and our model answer focuses on 2. Number 1, the worry that the new contract will lead to unsafe working hours for doctors. And number two, that the new contract discriminates against female doctors.
There is also the idea that the junior doctor contracts discriminate against female doctors.
To finish our model answer, our student gives his opinion on the debate without being too one-sided, and emphasising that the government's intentions of a 7-day NHS are correct, but the approach seems wrong.
In conclusion, I feel as though the government is right to pursue a 7-day NHS, but the way they're doing so is not the right way forward.
Overall, we think that the new junior doctor contracts is very likely to come up this year at medical school interviews. Interviewers will have expected you to have followed the debate. So use this summary to mould your answers, and also make sure you do read up on the latest news if things do change before your interview.